Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining today. Today, my session will be around getting started with Azure AI Foundry. I'm not gonna pack you guys with all the detailed technical stuff. We're not gonna go dive into the code itself, but it's gonna be more of an introduction to this amazing AI service in Azure, so you can get the familiarity. And in the next session of my friends Jihan, you're gonna have more hands-on coding session with them. All right. So before getting started, for those who don't know me, my name is Kaan Turgut. I'm currently a lead DevOps engineer at EPAM Systems. I'm also a multi-cloud DevOps guy that I call myself, along with the AI fanboy, we call it. I try to be a community contributor. If you scan my QR code over there, you can connect with me over LinkedIn. I do have multiple channels. I do have a YouTube channel that I try to do a content about DevOps, cloud, and AI stuff. And I'm gonna get started with other cool stuff very soon. So feel free to connect me over. If you have any questions or any other ideas to share, we can always connect over my socials. Coolly. So today, let's start with the agenda. What we're gonna start with is we're gonna take a look at what is Azure AI Foundry, and we're gonna take a look at what type of API and SDKs are supported currently for Azure AI Foundry. We're gonna deep dive into type of projects that you will see, and we're gonna have a demo portal walkthrough. My style is to do hands-on, even though it's not very technical, code heavy. I always try to show by doing it. So I'm gonna take you guys through Azure portal, spin up an Azure AI Foundry, and show all the cool features over there. Then we're gonna wrap the session up with some Q&A if you guys have any questions. Cool. What is AI Azure Foundry? So my first question here to understand the audience experience with this service. How many of you guys have used Azure AI Foundry before? Okay, we only have a couple of people. Cool. So I think it's going to be beneficial for majority of the audience here today. So Azure AI Foundry, in a nutshell, it's an umbrella AI resource in Azure that you can find anything about AI development on enterprise or medium or small scale. Whether you need some sort of, whether you need different models, whether you need to develop AI agents, whether you need to develop applications or some other systems integrated with AI, right? So this explanation is from Microsoft. I don't get to read it a lot, but here, if you see the diagram over here, you can see Foundry models. So Azure AI Foundry, as far as I know, is the biggest service that holds thousands of AI LLM models inside of it. So you can basically find different type of models from Microsoft, from Cohere, from Facebook itself, from Hugging Face, anything you want. Not only ChatGPT versions, but any model that you can think of as of now. Now we do have Foundry Agent Service that you can spin up and develop your own AI agents. Now we have Azure AI Search, AI Services underneath, which basically make the Azure machine learning working behind the scenes, so you don't have to deal with it. And you have Azure AI Content Safety, which you can govern and put your guardrails on your AI systems, right? And basically, AI Foundry has a lot of integrations with cool systems. For example, if you're developer happy, if your choice of IDE is Visual Studio, you can integrate Azure AI Foundry and basically develop your AI systems from your Visual Studio instead of going to the portal, right? You have your GitHub Copilot, you have your Copilot Studio that you can develop, and you have your Foundry SDKs. So from a command line, you can just use SDKs and develop your AI systems. Going forward, so currently, some of the APIs and SDKs that are supported in Azure AI Foundry is basically majorly Python. I just wonder how many of you guys are familiar and have written a code in Python before? Oh, majority. That's amazing. Okay, we have a lot of devs friends out here. Then the second one is C#. Now we have JavaScript, TypeScript in preview mode, and Java in preview mode. As you all can guess, Python is one of the biggest language being used in the AI space, and that's one of the major languages being used in the Azure AI Foundry. So when I first started using Azure AI Foundry almost a year and a half ago, I think there was only Python support in place. So every service was only supported by Python SDK, which I was using at the time, right? Then of course you do have your Azure AI Foundry based code extension that you can have and use the Azure AI Foundry from your Visual Studio Code. Going forward, type of projects. So in AI Foundry, I'm going to demonstrate it shortly, but we do have type of projects that you can think like GitHub projects, right? So there are two types. One is normal AI Foundry project. The second one is called Hub project. The Azure AI Foundry project is managed under direct Azure AI Foundry resource. It's a container for access management for all your model deployments, all your data uploads, integration, and monitoring, right? So it is basically your space, your project to work with the service itself. Where hub-based project is hosted by an Azure AI Foundry hub. Let's say you work in an enterprise company where you have some AI admins that can create the hub, and basically in that hub you guys will have hub projects. What it does? Hub basically have a distributed system where you can think about it as an organization. On the hub level, if you were to deploy a model, that would be inherited in your projects, right? So if you work on your own, go with the direct Azure AI Foundry project. If you're a team, if you want a central management, go with the hub. So you can manage all your projects from a single place that's called hub, right? So that's the major difference. However, there are some features that are not supported in the normal AI Foundry project, which are supported in the hub-based projects, right? On the right side, if you can see the list that I took from Microsoft, for example, the major features that are not supported in the AI project but supported in the hub is prompt flows, right? And you can see open source modules such as the ones that you get from the Hugging Face. They're only supported in the hub-based projects, but all others are very similar, identical. Some of them are in preview where agents are generally available in the Foundry projects, but they're still in preview in the hub projects, right? So I just want you guys to know the difference because this is the foundation that we're going to see when we spin up an AI Foundry project. That's all from me before the demo, right? Because what I like is I like to get into the portal or some code, and I'd love to do some hands-on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my portal here for you guys, right? Then, okay. So just wondering here, because I know that there are a couple of people just work with the AI Foundry. But what about the Azure experience? How many of you guys have worked with Azure somehow? Okay, all of the audience. What about the other skills like AWS, GCP, Google Cloud, Alibaba? Okay, sounds good. So if you're familiar with the Azure portal, you know the drill. If you're not, what I'm going to do is there's a search button here, which I'm going to type Azure AI Foundry, which is going to take me to the service itself. So in the overview section, if it loads, we're going to see some cool stuff. Let me actually reload it. Oh, there we go. So here you can see you have an option to create, view all the resources of the documentation. On the left side, I do have Azure AI Founders that are sped up for me, right? You can see all the project AI Founders here, right? But basically, if you want to go with the hub base, you have your hub resources in here. right? So here, I do have two hubs. You can see from the type, I do have this hub, and I do have this hub project, AI project that is under the hub itself, right? In order to create, so today I'm gonna go with the hub-based project because I want to show you guys a feature that only exists in hub for now. What I'm gonna do is, if I wanna go with hub, I'll go hub, or if I wanna directly go with the project, I can go with the project. What we're gonna do is, you go with hub, you select your subscription, you select your resource group, right? You select your region. Quick note here. I know we're in Canada, so my normal behavior is to use Canada Central most of the time, or Canada is region. But AI Foundry has some limitations on these regions. If you want to use some of the agents or some of the models, they're most likely not available in Canada regions yet. So I recommend in your POCs using East US, Australia regions would be more beneficial. Just a note. Because I had the scenario where I deployed everything, I was about to deep dive into it and say, hey, this is not supported in Canada Central. So just be aware of it, or you can check the Microsoft page to see which features are available in which regions. All right? So we go with the East US. For now, you give your resource a name, always follow up your naming standards. You have your default project resource group that you can select. If you wanna have it in the same resource group as your hub, go with this. If different resource group, go with other. And here you need to select an AI services based model that you need to deploy. Right? If you don't have it, you basically need to create a new service which is going to spin up all the necessary resources automatically for you. So basically, as Microsoft has a big collaboration with OpenAI, it uses a lot of models, a lot of good AI services from OpenAI itself in this service, right? I'm not gonna spin the resource up. I already have a ready one for the sake of the time. So what I'm gonna do is I'll probably go to this one, right? Because it's my East US. So if I go to this one, I'll launch an Azure AI Foundry. So AI Foundry has a different portal for itself. Even though it exists in the Azure portal, it has a unique, dedicated portal for itself. If for the hub style, this is the first look when you get there, right? This is my hub overview. Here you can see it says hub overview. I'm in the management center. This is for the admins to manage your hub. You can manage your accesses. You can manage your deployments, model deployments. You can manage your endpoint deployments. You can manage your governance and safety from this part, right? So basically, if you want to go with the new project, click on new project and give your project a name. Then once you have it, you're good to go. I already have one here. If I click on it, basically, this is not the overall look. If I click on the go to project here, it's going to take me to the project itself. So right now, I'm in my project, right? So the first thing that I can see here is my AI services resource that I see, right? And my API key that I can use in my SDKs or stuff when I need it. And I do have my endpoint here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the model catalog. This is where you can find all the models that you need, right? I think Microsoft done an amazing job over here. The reason is you have your filters over here. Because I think majority of AI consumers as of now, we're not very well aware of which models are doing what, right? Like the models are not just getting developed to write some code. They're not just getting developed to complete some checks. They have their unique capabilities as we do, right? Some models are getting developed for different industries, for health industry, for generating image. We're using different models. You're not using ChatGPT for generating image. When you try it, you see the results, right? So you use DALL-E maybe for video. You're using Sora models, right? So here, that's where you can find the right model for your need. What you can do is you can click on collections and you can basically select the model owner first here. If you want to go with direct from Azure, or if you have a different model owner, you can select it. Then you have your industry, right? You can select your industry over here. Which industry are you working for? Then you have your capabilities. Some models are supporting agents. Some are supporting assistants. Some are reasoning models. Some are routing, streaming, or tool calling, right? You have your deployment options. Basically, some models can be deployed into managed compute, so you don't have to manage it. Some models are running on serverless APIs, right? Depends. And you have your inference tasks over here, right? So some models have better capability or direct capability from text to text, maybe text to voice, voice to text, right? Speech recognition, chat completion, content filters, different. So in a nutshell, you can filter out based on your needs and have the best model out there instead of spending hours to get the results with a base model, right? So I think this is an amazing platform. Feel free to check it out to find more models. And here, playgrounds. How many of you guys have attended AI tour, the last AI tour here in Toronto? Okay, very last year. I couldn't attend this year, but last year I attended. So in that AI tour, they basically demonstrate how to play with this playground in the AI Foundry, where you can get a lot of hands-on and the understanding of what is the AI Foundry is doing. So if I were to try check playground, if I click on it, you will see a playground that you can try this capability, this feature, right? On the left panel, I do have an instruction and context to my model. So in AI, like as a consumer, I think one of the most important thing is how do you instruct and guide your model, right? Because your model is very capable, and based on the detailed instruction, you can get more precise. You can get certain more proper answers and outputs from it, right? So I'm saying, hey, you're an assistant, AI assistant that helps people find information, maybe specialized in, specialized in, I don't know, let's say, sorry? It's a system problem, exactly. Let's say, what industry should we say? I don't know. Let's say cloud computing, right? So here, it's basically what I'm gonna ask. It's gonna chat with me saying, "Hey, what are the some hyperscale providers out there?" It's a basic like you use ChatGPT or some other LLMs over here. Here you can see it basically gives me a lot of output, right? So you do have section over here. You can save the system examples or variables, or even further, you can add your own data. This is a good example and feature. So basically, what you can do, I think most of you guys heard about RAG applications, virtual augmented applications, and basically generated applications. Basically, your own data is your source of truth, right? Let's say I do have a data set, and my application or my AI system needs to work on it. This is where bring your own data works like a charm. If I do have some sort of customer data here or some sort of inventory data, I can just put it, I can just provide it. So the LLM model that I'm using can search over it and give me the necessary outputs, right? If I would have my inventory over here, let's say, because I have done it for a customer that is in the car sales business, basically they have their databases which we provided as their data to the LLM model here. And basically, based on their sales and inventory, they had a chatbot that you can chat with and basically saying, hey, like, I'm looking for a car that is good in winter, that is seven-seated, and basically based on the inventory, it would give you the car itself, right? Some stuff like that. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each playground. I'm just going to give you guys a sense so you can poke around later on. We do have a video playground. I think there's a huge hype going on with the new released Sora model, right? It's doing amazing models. It's doing amazing videos out here. So we are using Sora here as well. I deployed a Sora model here. You can see there are some pre-built prompts. So you can see the prompt and the generated video, or you have your generation history. I didn't try much, but you can make fun of it. Oh, actually, you don't see it here because I probably tried it somewhere else. So we can. I don't know, you guys tell me a prompt so we can all try it. If someone gives me a video prompt, we can try to generate a video. Any volunteers?
Throwing a TV from the Microsoft office.
Who's throwing it? Elephant.
Elephant.
Okay. Elephant
From on top.
throwing a TV. Okay. So you can generate your videos, download them from here. Let's see how long it would take. Not very ideal, eh? You need your editors to do it for you.
It's too ambitious.
Too ambitious? Yeah. I think we need to specify, hey, don't show yourself with the TV. Okay, it happens. It happens. You guys got the sense. Play around with it, have some fun. I think it's gonna get better. As you guys can see, it's in preview, right? Then you have your image player that you can generate images from, right? I think I need to create a deployment. This is a good example. So for images, I cannot use the model that I use for video or chat, right? I need a different model that is capable for imaging. Here you can see some models. I'm gonna go with DALL-E 3, which is one of the most popular ones out there. And you have your deployment name. You can give your deployment a name. I would definitely recommend giving a good name. You have your deployment types, how you want to deploy it. We don't have an option here, but you can deploy it regionally, globally, some sort of different deployment types. Then you have your deployment details over here. Basically, model version upgrade policy. You can select, hey, upgrade my model once it has upgraded, or use the current one, use the current version when it expires, this and that, right? And you have your model version, you have your AI resource, you have your tokens per minute rate limit. If you don't want to spend a lot of money on it, you can control your tokens, and you have your content filter, a lot of details. So I'm just going to deploy it over here. It should take a minute. This is one thing that I realized. Let me actually see if I go back to the image player. Yeah. So I think we can give a feedback to the Microsoft team. So for the last couple of weeks, when I deploy model, it doesn't refresh the page. I'm hoping that's not over there. It doesn't refresh the page for some reason. I have to go back and forth to see the deployments. But basically, we do have a model here. I need another volunteer for the image. Anyone? Just throw out something.
Helium balloons floating over a city.
What's that?
Helium balloons floating over a city.
Helium balloons. Sorry.
Floating away.
Floating over the city. I think it did a better job than the video, right? So definitely not a bad one over here. So feel free to poke around with the image playground. I'm just gonna speed up a bit. we do have the audio playground, right? So here it says try speaking out loud just like you would converse with a real person, and here the responses you get back. Right, these are some features that you have in ChatGPT, but you have your own playground here, so you can develop some applications based upon. Right, if I select my microphone, oh, and enable it. I'll go with this. Hello? Oh, I need to deploy a model here. I'm just going to go with the first one. Okay, it was fast. You have your instructions and the context for the model. Then what I'm going to do is, oh, yeah, I'm going to do some software network. Do we have a Wi-Fi problem? Okay, I don't have enough token capacity, which I need to request later on. So I'll just skip this, but it's like a conversation model, so it talks back to you, right? Not the fanciest one out there, to be honest. But we're gonna go with the speech playground, which is very interesting because it has a lot of capabilities over here. So basically, you have your video translations. You have, so for example, this is one of the examples from Microsoft. So the general idea here is the original video is in Spanish, which is this. So if you don't know Spanish, you cannot understand it. But what you can do is you can upload your own voice, and with this playground, it is going to be able to translate it with your voice, and you're gonna have a translated video in English or whatever language you want. I'll take your question if it's not urgent. Thank you so much. Then we have real-time transcription, right? It's a real-time transcription. You basically give your audio, and on a speech recognition, it basically writes what you're talking. You have fast transcription and other type of transcriptions here. And here I do have a favorite one, which I couldn't get yet. But basically, this is you give your image, it creates an avatar for you. You give your video about it, and basically you type some stuff, and your avatar talks for you, right? I was trying to get this ready for this to showcase you guys, but you need to fill out forms, you need to request. So Microsoft, it's a limited access for now, and I can get my access yet, but give it a try. I think it's a very fancy feature that you can use out there. And you have a lot of other speech features over here. Then we do have language playground, right? Where you can basically have different features. I think what we can do is, I don't know, which one should we detect language, right? You can put some text, it can detect which language it is, or you can basically extract some PII from conversation. PII data is a sensitive data, right? So you have some conversations, it can extract those data or summarize for a call center, for example, right? Let's say you have a call center, you have a lot of calls coming in and out, but you have to keep track of those. You can summarize them. There was one thing that I was very interested. Oh, here. So it's this is a fine tuning. I don't know how familiar you guys are with fine tuning, but it's basically making the model more customized based on your needs and your data, so it can basically act and work like you. So basically, if you have specific needs, you can train this model, and from the text, it can recognize some of the patterns that you taught it, right? So some stuff. I'm not gonna deep dive into this. Uh, the reason is I really love this guy over here, Healthy Playground. The reason I do have a personal story with this. A year ago, when I was dealing with my mom's health issues, we had a blood work for her as well as some X-rays and stuff. As I'm not a doctor, I couldn't understand what it was saying, right? Then I knew that there was a playground about this, and I don't know how good it is, but I uploaded my mom's test results because I think we had to wait for 2 weeks to see the doctor, but I was very curious because it was going around my mind. Then I uploaded saying, hey, like what's going on with my mom? What are these results? And it literally gave me the output saying, hey, based on blood work, this is what your mom might have. Based on the X-ray, this is what your mom might have. These are some cures that you guys can consider. Then I didn't do anything. We went to the doctor. Doctor literally told me the same diagnosis, same cure. And I was like, okay, like Microsoft or whoever is developing these models are doing an amazing job. And I'm very excited where AI is taking us, right? Because the doctor, he basically went to school for 10, 12, 15 years, where this AI model was able to read the reports and give me the answers in a matter of minutes. That was pretty impressive. So feel free to try this out. You can put all your health related reports or stuff here. It will be able to act as a doctor or nurse to help you out. And you have your app services over here, which is the overall services in AI Foundry that you can find, right? So you have document translation, like all the stuff that we saw in the playgrounds. This is like a page where it shows you, hey, we have this, and if you click on speech capabilities, it takes you back to the playground itself. Then we have some build and customize, which is more developer friendly, more for the developers. You have your agents. I think my guy Kaan will create some agents in the next session. But basically, this is where you create your AI agents and work with them. You have your templates, which is a new feature actually. This is very cool. So because like when AI Foundry first published, we didn't have much guidance, so how to work with. So I was literally working with ChatGPT and with my knowledge develop some cool AI stuff with AI Foundry right now. Microsoft put a lot of samples and templates in their GitHub repository, so you can clone, change a couple of variables, and deploy your own AI agents or applications. You have your templates over here that you can see, and if I click on open in GitHub, it's going to take you to GitHub repository that has all the information that is needed, right? Or even further, you can deploy these in a code spaces and try it from there. Going back, we do have fine tuning page. This is more of an advanced stuff. So if you really want to spend some time and money on fine tuning to customize the model, feel free. But just letting you guys know, fine tuning is not a cheap option to go with. We do have content understanding, which is in preview, which is very interesting. I had to take a look at this. So this is basically some sort of recognition. You upload a file, and based on it, basically understands what your file has, gives you all the data into that file, right? For example, in this example, we do have insurance claims review, where you give an estimate, and it gives you all the fields that are necessary. It basically extracts the results from the document itself. If you want to have that data ingested somewhere and use it, you have your JSON results, so you can basically extract and use the data somewhere else, right? Or why can't I just go here? You have your, for example, image data extraction, which I'm going to be using in my upcoming sessions, that I'm building a financial agent. So how cool it is that my agent will be able to extract the image data without using different libraries. Instead, what if I could use the SDK of this service, right? This service is built particularly for extracting the image data. Or you have your post-call analysis, right? Let's say you have a recruitment call center or call center. You can basically extract post-call analysis to see if maybe you have a text like how to call it. You're selling something, you have guys to sell it for you. And after each call, you get a summary saying, hey, this is how Kaan's call went, and these are the chances Kaan would be able to sell this product to the customer, right? A lot of ideas that you guys can think of, but this is, in general, it's a content understanding feature. And you have your prompt flow here, which is, you don't have to be a developer, but if you're a developer, it would be easier for you, which is essentially you can guide and you can pivot how your prompt can go through the LLM model and what are the outputs or what is the automation that you can do. So here, for example, I do have an input, which I do have a input called topic with a value of soccer, right? My topic is soccer. And the output should be joke, which is basically echoing of the output. That is, that I have a Python script that echoes the output from my LLM model. How it works is, I give my topic, the joke itself is a prompt that tells, hey, your robot can tell a joke. And user basically gives a joke is about topic. What is my topic? Soccer, right? So what's going to do is, if I don't know if it's going to take a long time here, but when I start my compute session, when I run this flow, it will basically pass my topic to the prompt. And in the prompt, my LLM will determine the instruction, and it's going to echo, it's going to basically generate a joke about it, and it's going to echo that joke. So you can think this, because right now, if you're using ChatGPT or a normal chat models, you cannot control what type of output you want to get, right? You just give instruction and LLM does something for you. Here, what you can do is you can create flows. Maybe you can have an automation saying to the LLM and prompt, hey, do this. If this is this, do this. Then you have your prompt and then generate some results. It takes a look. If the result is true, it goes to the other side of the prompt and does some other automation. If it's not true, it goes to other prompt, other flow, and it does some other actions that you need, right? So you can create different prompt, you can create different flows here without any coding. It doesn't have to be Python. You have options that have more tools, but Python is the nature of this operations, right? Then I'm just going to speed up. We do have observability. You have your tracing, which you can trace your application logs with AI Foundry. You have your monitoring, which you can use to monitor applications. So for SREs out there, we're only using application insights, log analytics, or different observability tools like Prometheus, which Azure AI Foundry is right now providing with some AI-powered observability here. Feel free to check it out. Then you have your project and governance. This is more of the security guys stuff, but you can create evaluations on your models, so you can really evaluate how accurate your model is doing, right? Because you cannot 100% trust your model, but you can govern it to make it better. Maybe you have some models deployed here, you create some evaluations around the model to see how accurate the model gives a response, let's say how fast the model is responding, and you can do performance and quality checks with this. Then you have your guardrails, right? We do have a lot of questions about how, like, LLM is very capable. How can you not make it harmful? How can you make sure someone from outside is not using it harmfully, right? this is where it happens. You need to put guardrails and controls. Per se, you would say, hey, over here, I'm just gonna do content filter. And if you create content filter, oh, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna show you guys here block list. So here, hold on. Content filter. Oh yeah. Do I have a connection for it? Next. So here in the input filters, you guys can see we do have categories that you can filter out. Violence, hate, sexual, self-harm, and bunch of stuff. And you have your threshold saying, hey, like be very harsh. And like if you sense a word about this topic, block it. Don't send any communications or output out. So you can be highest blocking. You can go with a lot of detailed guardrails over here. Or if you have a specific words or specific stuff that you don't want to output from your LLM model, you can go with the block list, which you will basically write a description, maybe saying, my model is about just teaching cloud, and I don't want my model to output anything else. I don't like if I ask what is today, I don't want my model to answer today is Thursday, right? So just you can instruct your model and narrow its capabilities down to your specific things around here. Then you have your risk and alerts, which you can create a lot of alerts. This is a general practice. And you have your governance, which you can leverage Microsoft Purview or some other governance tools out there. Which, if I were to go to the Management Center, this is where you can deploy or control some of the models or endpoints, or you can connect resources. So one of the other thing about Hub Resource here is Azure AI Foundry requires storage account and key vault to store some values and store some data. And basically, when you deploy an Azure AI Foundry, it deploys those resources automatically. And here you can see those resources, right? So if when I deployed a hub-based model, it deploys those managed resources, and all the necessary resources that are connected, you can see them here. Okay. So if you were to deploy a new connection or a new resource, let's say you have these options as of now. You have different external resources that you can implement, like SharePoint or even further Bing search. Regarding the Bing search, it's very good capability. Just to note here, you have to have a pay-as-you-go subscription in order to deploy Bing search resource. It's a different resource that you need to deploy. So if you have like some founded Azure account or some free Azure account, it's not permissible. You have to have a pay-as-you-go because it's about this, right? So these are the general capabilities and generally Azure AI Foundry. I hope this gave you an introduction. So I hope you guys would benefit, and at tonight or later on, you can try it out yourself and get some observability over the service. So thank you so much. I can get the questions if there are any. Yeah, there's one under. I think Essence getting a microphone.
Okay. Thank you for that.
No.
So Andrea looks really good, lots of capabilities, lots of value. But what about cost? Billing? Okay, given your experiences, what do you know about the cost models? Right? Billing, horror bills,
Yeah,
limits.
let's do this. I think it was the last AI tour that I did another presentation here regarding the Foundry, and I was using agents. I was using very powerful compute behind this, and my cost was around like 600-700 a month, right? So I think in the area of AI, we have to be very cautious. It's because AI needs to work on very powerful machines, right? But for specific costs, I cannot recall, hey, playgrounds would cost you this much. To be honest, I never worried about cost as I can fund it. But I think what I can do for you, is we can do Azure AI Foundry pricing. So we do have we can okay. Not these are not. So we can use price calculator, but I think it's based on which model you deploy. Each module might cost you differently, and how your token usage is, right? Because some of the services, as it happened, requires a lot more token usage limit, which is the money itself. It's like a quota. But Jihan might have another word.
Give an answer on this one. So mainly you will not pay too much on the Azure AI projects, but what you will deploy on the Azure AI project.
So I'm copying them.
So basically, you will pay what you will deploy on Azure AI Foundry. So you will not pay too much or nothing on the deployment of the AI projects. But when you will deploy some models on it, you will pay really these models only. So for example, on our project, we have OpenAI deployments. So we pay only the OpenAI deployments when we use the AI projects. And it depends really on the token cost. It's really to pay as you go. So it's not too expensive to host or do anything else. But fine-tuning have cost, which is expensive, but most of the models are serverless, so you can just use it as pay as you go.
Thank you. I'm just very good. Like for each model, you have your pricing list over here per token, right? So you can calculate your token usage as you have mentioned and take it from there. It's more of a model based, which model are you using.
That's good.
Yep.
Thank you. So if I want to use as in on Azure Foundry or Azure itself, so what is the best way to deploy that?
That's a great question. So depends on what type of application that you want to use, right? Do you want to use do you want to do some sort of agentic workflow, or do you want to do some sort of RAG workflow, right? I think for RAG, I'm not gonna answer that. The reason is Jihan will do some demonstration on the RAG, but for the agents, regarding to agents, what you can do is in the agent section, which I skipped because Jihan will touch upon, but in the agents, so you create your agent over here, right? Let's say I do have this agent, and this agent has an agent ID, and with the API key that I have of the project, I will be able to use this agent, right? So let's say you only need to deploy, this is the infrastructure part of the thing. And for agents, everything goes through some sort of code. If you want to go with Python or Java or TypeScript, you have to take it there. I think that's going to be an answer coming from Jihan in his session. Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much for coming today. I appreciate your time.